Welcome to the channel, lovers of economy cars and TLV and Toyotas. So what we have here, that's Japanese probably for Corolla. This is the first generation Corolla, and in this case it's a four-door sedan. This is TLV LV-58B. The letter means the color choice, so I guess this is the second colorway. And I don't know, these older boxes, it says 2008, so pretty old now. It's I haven't opened this. We'll see if there's paint rash. This brand is just notorious for paint rash. And all you TLV fanboys make up weird excuses to store it a certain way, blah blah blah, but other toys don't get paint rash. It's that simple. These guys just don't know how to paint stuff, I think. But if we're lucky, this one will be nice. I bought this used, as you can probably guess from the box. I do like their packaging, it's really small. Alright, so Wikipedia says this body code is E10. It's the first generation, and it ran between 1966 to 1970. This car was made in 6 different countries, and I'm sure they made a lot of them. It was still rear-wheel drive, though. I don't think the Corollas went front-wheel drive until maybe the 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a Corolla fanboy. This thing had a 1.1 or 1.2 liter inline 4, making somewhere around 60 horsepower, and it could have a 4-speed manual or a 2-speed automatic. Alright, so it does have these squarish taillights. Alright, it looks pretty much like the photographs, I would say, minus the hubcaps on that one. And to the credit of the designer of this car, Tatsuo Hasegawa. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, so I apologize. Alright, well, it's not a metallic green. It's just a darker... Well, you know what? My camera makes it look dark green, but then when I look at it with my naked eye, it's... I guess it is on the darker half of green, but it looks like almost like a military green, like a drab color. And there is the infamous paint rash. Yep. There it is. Okay, but it happens to a lot of other brands too. The fact is, diecast is just a horrible material to try to expect it to be a long-lasting toy. Alright, TLVs have suspension. It's got these pretty well detailed hubcaps. Yeah, they look like the photographs, so that's nice. Copyright 2007. And scale, what the car is, where it is in the lineup. So this is great, you know what they tell you. TLV has some funky way of molding their tires, but it works. I don't really care about tread so much. What I care about is having knobbies that are atrocious, but these aren't so bad, so I think that's good. And for you real toy fans, they do roll. Alright. So, the silver door handles have some molding to them, and then the silver trim is carrying right across through them, so that's pretty cool. This badge here says Corolla, probably 1200, but I'm having a hard time focusing. I can't. Well, you can definitely see Corolla. I don't know what's below it, though. The turn signal there is raised, painted orange. The white walls are actually concentric, so that's good. The fuel filler there, and some sort of badge above it. And then there's some sort of passive venting here printed on as well. And this chrome is actually raised, it looks like. Yeah, there's a lip, and then it's painted silver. There's some silver on the side window. And then here it's back to the diecast, and then a little groove, or no, that's raised for that window trim there, and it's actually the same green as the body, so that's a nice attention to detail. Going to the hood here, we have some black here for the vents, so that looks pretty good. This one actually has molded wiper blades, so that's good. Unfortunately, there's no paint on them, but at least they got half of it right. Some silver around here, looks pretty nice. It's nice as a gray dashboard, not just, you know, plain black. The headlights are clear, and the way they molded it, looks like there's a light bulb back there, so that's cool. The grille has a nice fine texture, and there's also a badge here. Is that printed? Yeah, I mean, there's a little black there. I don't know if there's anything up below it, but there's something there, so that's good. The bulbous turn signals here are painted orange, pretty nice. This actually goes back a little bit, so that's pretty cool. I'm probably sure it's bottoming out against the metal base there. So that's pretty nice. Okay, my fingerprints again everywhere. This side here, it's like a weird tire bump there. Yeah, never mind. No fuel filler, but everything looks pretty good. Nothing wrong there. So this bumper, this rear one, looks like a separate piece. I don't know about the front one though. Let's see. Yeah, it's a separate piece. The brake there's a little air gap, so that's good. It seems to have painted on taillights, but they're done pretty well. I mean, they look metallic orange and red, and you got the backup as well. There's a badge here for, I'm assuming that's some sort of Corolla or trim level maybe. And then Toyota looks good, just a blank plate. A little lock there, silver trim is printed nice, and then maybe a light bump there or something for the plate. The paint's kind of filling in the gaps there, but you can still see the panel cap. The exhaust is part of the base, it's just black. It's a 1.2 liter, you don't need a giant exhaust. And then yeah, you got a gray interior carrying across to the back. Let's get the flashlight out. Try to hit focus before that. Definitely an old school steering wheel, looks pretty good. And then there's some molded detail for the instruments, two gauges it looks like. Next to that you got some HVAC and maybe radio buttons. The seats have nice texturing there, and it actually has a tan floor, so that's really neat. Alright, so two-tone interior, and the door panels have all the details. This one's got wind-down windows, the armrest. I wonder what that round thing is, maybe a speaker? The driver, same thing. Yeah, what is that round thing? Please leave a comment if you know. I remember a time when cars had a bunch of ashtrays in them, so maybe it's that. Alright, so that's a pretty great interior. I was not expecting the floor to be a different color, so it's nice that they did that. Alright, got a mix of Toyotas here. Here's another TLV. This one is... I can never focus. Toyota Corolla 1500 from 61 and 64. It's just a second generation Corolla, I guess. I put a license plate on it. I'll do the same later for this Corolla. Mixing up the brands, we got this Aoshima, and one of the rare ones where it actually tells you it's an Aoshima. This is a Carina from 1981, which I guess is the third generation of it, and I put some metal BNDS alloys on this thing. So this is part of the Garachon collection. I also probably repainted this interior because most of them aren't colored. So that's a modified car. I like it. I only have two other Corollas. So this is by BM Creations, and this is the 4th generation one. I don't know what body code it is. Oh, E70, there you go, very cool. So BM Creations has this cool little gimmick where you can steer the things. It's got some treads. You can also lower and up the ride height, and it should also have a second set of wheels. I think these are the stock wheels. This one's got a cool metallic green going on. I like the fender mirrors, and it's possible I may have repainted the interior of that, although I cannot remember. The last one is another BM Creations of a more modern Corolla. This is the Gen 7 from 96 to 02. Is it me, or is this the first front-wheel drive Corolla? Because I think the one before this might have been the Trueno. No, the Trueno was in the 80s, so I think there might be one in between the Trueno AE86 and this generation that may have switched it over to front-wheel drive. But you Toyota experts can hopefully leave comments, because I'm sure other viewers might be interested in knowing. So there we go. They're all pretty small cars, as they should be. Alright, so it's another cool little TLV. You know, I've come to grow into just accept the paint rash. And more than half of my TLVs, or the majority of my TLVs, percentage-wise, have some sort of paint rash, whether they're brand new or used. And that's just the thing you gotta deal with. I like TLV because, I mean, who else is gonna make a casting of this car? Maybe BM Creations will come back one day and do all the Corollas. I never expected to see this thing in 164, but it happened. Alright guys, well, I'll see you in the next Toyota 164 scale video. Cheers.